This is the comeback of an electric car that everyone forgot, and that's the word. It's the Nissan Leaf 2026, which now really comes to compete because now it's a crossover. The changes are incredible. The platform is now the same one used by Nissan's Ariya. It's now an electric platform, not gasoline like before.
Everything changed, but one thing remains. Every presentation includes an introduction.
All electric cars aim to be the future, not just the car of the future. Few can say they already were, since this first came out in 2010 as the third generation. This one could say, well, it's the future. 15 years have already passed, and back then it was the car of the future. Here it is. This isn't just any electric vehicle. This is the Leaf, the first one. For over a decade, this was a pioneer, and I'll never forget that. Then it was completely forgotten, but today it's trying to make a comeback, and it's doing it well, standing strong. Because with this example we have here, I think that when we talk about the price, people are going to say, wow, now you can actually buy an electric car. Electric Shangri-La, Electric San Diego in California. The best time for you, Elgo Kaishin debriefing inauguration. We have two chargers since we'll use the Tesla network, which has over 20,000 fast charging locations. We have a contract with Tesla for their charger like other brands do. On one side is the Tesla charger, and on the other is the standard home charger. We offer both options in this car, so you don't have to change now, but eventually only this port will be used. And here is the port for the regular charger, like my level 2 one at home. So you don't get confused, now it's a crossover with a hatchback silhouette. I really like what they've done here with the port up here, which reminds me of a Sea Shark when I saw that too. They installed the door handle so it's now flush and hidden, making it look great. Many cars have this feature now. They've added special touches and a design similar to the previous area, but it's more aggressive, mature, and sporty. And we can see that here, which is the new silhouette of this car, and inside it also feels super spacious, okay? And one very important thing, now you can buy it for $29,990. It's the cheapest electric car in the United States. This car and everything else are made in Japan. I like my cameras. I prefer items labeled made in Japan over those marked made in United States of America, believe it or not. This car comes in 3 versions, each with liquid-cooled batteries. That's something the old Leaf never had. I'm showing you that there's no frunk here, just the electric motor. The S model, priced at $29,990, has a 75 kilowatt motor with 214 horsepower. With 303 miles of range, the special value is $34,230 and the PLA is $38,900, and that one has 259 miles of range. Here, Nissan isn't just selling a car, they're offering accessibility, technology, and design without hurting your wallet. Like going to the clinic after spending all your money and now you're just lost, standing off to the side. Let's look at this. In this piano-like color up here, it says, the Leaf engraving is subtle in black but looks elegant. New built-in LED lights feature a unique design resembling small ice cubes. But when everything in the car is on, it looks great overall. We have the front camera and air intakes down here, mainly to cool the car a bit from underneath. The components vary by model. Some offer 360-degree views or are packed with sensors. What about the front? The design is nice. There's a wine red color, but I prefer this bluish one since it reminds me more of electrification. I think the front itself is very good. New 19-inch wheels, independent suspension, rear multi-link. Here we have the camera, the fender, all the black color they used around the fender to make it look a bit more robust. Actually, I was driving it on the road. It's not that kind of suspension where you feel like you're riding in a Cadillac. It's actually pretty stiff. It makes it feel more like a sports car. I like that part because I drove here with someone who said the suspension felt stiff. But I told him, well, that depends on your preference because I like it that way. Kind of stiff in a small, compact car like this. In this area where we are now, which is all curves, I felt it handled pretty well. Camera here because we have a 360-degree bird's eye view, folding mirrors. There's a panoramic roof that changes the intensity to let in more or less light, and it does it in sections. We'll see that once we're inside. Keyless entry, of course, with the key in your pocket. Here we have the pillars, which are black, but piano black. If this didn't shine, like that light absorbing material that doesn't reflect. I would much prefer the entry here, rear seat with the opening up here at the top. I've already seen that design in the Hyundai Veloster, the CHR and other cars, but it doesn't look bad. I like how it looks here, and you can see it's a crossover. It's not just a pure hatchback like it's a hatchback type crossover, and I like it a lot. The doors feel solid. When you close them, you can tell Nissan did an excellent job with this car. For newcomers to electrification, this is a solid $29,000 entry option. You have an electric car and can choose between 2 chargers if you have one at home. You're good, so now you know back. The car is very nice, especially when you see that view up front. It feels like you're in a premium car that doesn't have a premium price. I like that on the headrests. We've added Bose speakers, 2 USB ports, heating, and if rear seat cooling or heating isn't available, there's a 120 volt connector below. I've told you or will tell you that these seats cost $60 or $40. Okay, to create a flat space here in the back, which is much more comfortable, we have cup holders here, a good headrest, comfort, and it looks nice. It's not ugly. Pockets on both sides that are actually pretty good.
Is the car comfortable?
I already drove it to get here, about 90 miles or so. I drove it quite a bit until I could really push it. It feels pretty good. Now I'm going to drive it again back here. Well, I already showed you more or less about these seats. Lay it flat so everything stays level. In the back, lift here to access 2 covers. You can lower the floor if you want, since this part is removable. There are 2 options, and you can use the space below for storage. There's a 120 volt connector on this side. You already know you can connect devices here. Fridges, camping gear, anything you want. With all the seats down, it also gives you a large cargo space here in the back. And of course, lowering this is electric. Okay, well, I was driving this car in the mountains here in California for an hour and a half going up and an hour and a half going down. But I had a lot of people in the car and I couldn't do this part of the video that I still needed to do, which is basically the part of driving the car, feeling it, accelerating it. But let me tell you, there were a lot of curves and it felt really good. I liked it a lot. What I like most about the car is its price. Okay, that's super important. Being the cheapest SUV we're going to have for sale here in the United States for now. Now think about this. How much are the fees gonna be? Now, I'm not sure since they didn't mention the fees, but I do know there's a 15% fee with Japan, and this is made in Japan. We'll see exactly what there is. If we add the destination fee, over $1,000, it's not included in the $29,990 price. That's coming up a little further ahead. I really like the rest. I have paddles behind the steering wheel that help me with brake regeneration. Let me tell you something else. We have just 1 battery in all 3 models, right? Now look at this, because this is super important. It turns out that depending on the size of the wheel, the thickness of the wheel you have down there will determine your range. And depending on the model you have, that will also determine the range.
That's the big difference.
The battery remains unchanged, but for the first time in the Leaf, it's now liquid cooled, unlike before. This is the first time we have this here. Here's the button we're going to use, the personal driving modes, Sport, Standard, and Eco. I have it in Sport mode, and next to it I have the button called E-Step off for the pedal to choose how hard or soft I want the pedal to be. With 1 pedal driving, the car doesn't fully stop on its own like other cars do. For legal reasons, they didn't want it that way in Japan, and in other parts of the world it's also for legal reasons. They haven't decided yet if they're going to make it come to a complete stop like other cars that stop fully here in the United States or not. Other than that, it's pretty good. Now I want to show you up here this sunroof that we have here. You touch here and this gets darker in sections, or it gets lighter in sections and it doesn't get hot. Or you touch it and you feel it's hot, but you don't feel the heat passing to your head. Like other electric cars that have this kind of panoramic roof, that doesn't happen here at all. What this panoramic roof has is called attenuation. The seats are fully tailor fit. They're called zero gravity seats for the rear row. We have hands-free, because what Nissan wants to sell you now is not just the car itself, but they're going to show you how accessible, how technological, and how well designed it is, and that it won't leave your wallet hurting when you spend on it. And I'm sure that the lease for this car, renting this car, is going to be very cheap. Now, this is the first Nissan that comes with the North American charging standard port, which is the Tesla port, and it comes from the factory. You can charge it at over 20,000 Tesla superchargers. No adapters, plugins, or anything like that, okay? You just plug it in and that's it. If you charge at home, you connect to the new Nissan Energy Marketplace, that Nissan Energy Marketplace. They already sell you the whole package, the charger, installation, and electric management. They sell you absolutely everything. Buying this car lets you install a home charger. There's no fuss, no noise, no gearbox. The whole floor is fat because, as you know, the battery is all underneath, which gives a lot of space in all electric cars. Integrated motor in a 3-in-1 system inverter and reducer in a single unit. That's what allows us to connect up to 214 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. The traction is in the front. You saw the motor when I opened it. The rear suspension is independent multi-link, calibrated electric steering, and configurable reduction adjustment as well. This isn't a race car, but it feels good and agile in the city, right? On the highway, when I was coming back, a car stopped in front of me. Just like that, it seemed like it had a technical failure and I had to make a maneuver and brake the car. It responded well, nothing happened to it, it doesn't vibrate or float, and the materials feel well made with these blue colors. The combination, Nissan is right in the middle of the whole economic process that's happening. And it's expected that by the first quarter of 2017, it will be out of those problems. That's Nissan's goal with this new launch, with all the cuts they've made and everything else. The screen we have here is integrated with Google. It also has Apple CarPlay and it also has Android Auto. Heat pump air conditioning. There's soundproofing in here that's much better than previous models. We traveled all the way to where we stopped for lunch. They displayed the first generation of this car to show its evolution, and just ahead was the second generation. This is the first Nissan generation that can make round trips like today's lunch outing, and I still have 50% battery left. The cabin is clean, simple, and modern. Here are the gear buttons, the volume, the air conditioning vent, and all the controls. We have air conditioning controls here, high quality materials, and seat heating that can be adjusted from this spot. Nothing in here feels like those cars where you get in and it seems like everything is going to fall apart after 12 months. That doesn't happen here, absolutely not. This now gives you a sense of beauty. It conveys everything. This car now includes the full Propilo package. Assistant, adaptive cruise control, focused lane keeping, traffic jam assistant, secondary collision mitigation, 360 monitor, front, rear, sides. It has an automatic braking system with backup. This has what used to be available only in luxury car models. Today, there's a Nissan that costs less than any electric car and less than many gasoline cars. And it offers you all those features. So when I'm sitting here, I find that I have a wireless charger for my phone right here. Right here in this part, okay? Yeah, the compartment we have here is pretty good. We have another compartment down here, 2 cup holders here with USB-C connectors. So what I want to say is that the seats feel super comfortable. I have electric controls on this side, and on that side they're mechanical, but I do have lumbar support, which I really like when cars have lumbar support. We have the start button here, also up top, and the steering wheel position control is also mechanical. They do all that to save battery as well. You have to save the battery any way you can. Clear dashboard visibility up front, nothing blocks my view. The G-Shock display up front is also very clear. It shows navigation information or whatever you want to keep up there. Everything shows up there. Materials here on the doors, also sound systems. This is Bose. It handles curves and grips well. I really like the car. If you're going to consider an electric car, it's a really good option, you know? For this price, you could buy a Tesla with 80,000 miles or a Chinese SUV that you can't repair. Because there aren't parts in many places, and that's going to be solved, but right now there aren't any parts. Can you buy a hybrid that actually uses less? But if what you're looking for is to have something in your life to start freeing yourself a bit from oil, this is a good option. So if what you're looking for is an equation that's pretty much perfect, for under $35,000, this is a great electric car option. If anything's missing, what is it? For example, I'd like an all-wheel drive version, but that could come later. At this price, no electric car offers all-wheel drive. The Leaf started this revolution quite early. The revolution left it a little behind, but today it's back with a very nice model. No noise, no arrogance, just facts, well established here and at that price. I know it will do well, even if it's not the sexiest or fastest. But for economy, it's the best you can get right now in electric vehicles. And that's already a great victory that happened in Cubeos. And that's the forecast, that's the prediction. By the way, that was a predictable outcome.